You could just give them eye contact and make them know that you do notice that they're not really paying attention. Because I know with my dad, it's like if he's giving an illustration, maybe he can use someone's name and he'll say someone's name, but it's not like they're falling asleep, but it's just, yeah. He uses it for me, if he's giving an illustration about me, and I know he's going to give it, but I'm getting tired, and then he says my name, I'm like, oh. Yeah, and you don't want to be falling asleep because you know no one's watching.
Yeah. Okay. A few thoughts that I thought of. One is whenever you do a skit, you don't always have to explain it, because if it's a good enough skit, people will get your story. People will understand what's coming out of your story, right? So sometimes don't worry about trying to explain about even at the beginning. Maybe how I want my setup is look at the dynamics between these two people, and afterward, let's talk about how did this person feel and how did this person feel, and just leave it open. Because a lot of times, if you leave things more open, it'll give your participants a chance to discover what are we trying to get at, instead of saying watch for this person to be exasperated, watch for this person to be disobedient, that kind of thing. So I would say a lot of times your stories or your skits, whatever, don't explain it. Don't try. I mean, unless there's something specific you want them to see, but let it happen afterwards too. Let the people see the story. I mean, that's the thing about mystery and intrigue, right? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to all come to play. And so let people discover that. Let people see what's happening here, and then start dialoguing. So how do you So I like the fact that when we started talking about how did you feel? Sometimes when your parents start bugging about stuff, right? So when you start asking people for those suggestions, that was good, right? The idea of, okay, so how do you feel in this position? How do you feel? So when you point out to Chris, how do you think your parents felt when this was happening? So that's good. Allowing people to be in those positions and to reflect and to see where they're coming from, that was good. Sometimes I realize that we were short on time. The one thing that could easily be done in terms of sometimes, instead of pointing out specific things in the passage, is, especially for fact things, you could easily say, okay, you can start asking those fast questions, right? And this is even for people, as you get to know your teams, some people you'll realize are open to sharing, right? So I'm assuming you knew Chris. Maybe? No? Sort of?
Don't deny it.
Did you know Justin?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I mean, in some cases, you know some of the people on your team, and therefore that Chris. I'm assuming you knew that Chris could handle a question like that, right? Versus you just want to ask anyone in the blue a personal question. Whereas there are some people who you may not know that well. You don't know how they're going to react, but maybe if I don't know you, what's your name again? Joseph. Right? Joe or Joseph? Which one do you like? You like Joseph? Okay. So, I mean, if I don't know Joseph, maybe in order to involve him, maybe I'll ask him, hey, what are one of the things that God promises in that chapter? Right? Can you show me one of the things in that passage that God promises? Right? And again, you involve the person, but not necessarily from a personal level, right? Because they're answering something that's right in front of them. And so sometimes instead of telling them, again, here's what God is promising. Maybe even sometimes you ask questions about that, right? What does God say? What happens for people who will be their parents? What does this passage say about that? And you let people draw out those answers. And one thing that I thought of is, again, this is the whole thing with closing. If you're going to have one person close it, and that's it. The worst thing you could ever have is like a sermon or someone talking like me right now that keeps on going and going and going and going, and you're wondering after 15 in conclusions, you're wondering when's this thing going to end, right? Because I think Justin, when you shared that time, I think that was good, and you didn't need to have anything else added. Because sometimes when you start asking other people, what do you think, or especially in your own team, like let's say your co-captain or someone, it drags things. And at that point, people start losing again. So as a team, you work